Everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to this season's edition of 10 Minutes With. Of course, I am Mallard Woods, and I'm here with Chiara, who is, if you haven't recognized her, former sport karate competitor. She's out there kicking people in the head, but she switched to boxing about 4 years ago. And we're going to talk a little bit about this journey. First of all, Chiara, thank you for coming back. You're a second-time guest. I do believe it's been a couple of years, but first, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, so you actually interviewed me at the start of my career. So I'm actually really excited to be interviewed at I would say, the middle of my career. Like I said, thanks again for having me on.
Absolutely. This is great because we're getting to the point. It's kind of done this thing for a little while, and we're getting return guests. So when we talked before, and I don't remember which episode that was, I'm gonna have to put it in the show notes. But when we talked before, you had just got started from transitioning really from being a martial artist to putting your toes in boxing. What was the decision like to say, hey, this is something I'm interested in doing?
Um, it was a big decision. It was something I had to like really think about. Something that I want to get into just because the way I am, like I don't start something. I want to be great at everything I do, and I don't want to start something if I'm not going to be 100% in it. So it was something that I really had to make a decision. Also, boxing is very dangerous, so that was another factor. But here I am, 9-1, 3 knockouts, soon to fight for a world title.
Now, it's been interesting, as we mentioned, it's been about 4 years. And obviously, the sport of boxing, the practice of martial arts are different. However, both of them require discipline. I watched a reel that you had the other day showing you getting up at like 5 a.m. You check your weight, you go and you hit your first workout of the day. You
Yeah.
also work, which we'll get into as well. Then you come back. Like, for example, you're on your way to your second workout. Did the discipline of martial arts actually help you and assist you to, driving towards this grind that you're on?
It actually absolutely does, and I'm really thankful for my roots. I always think about it, and I'm always grateful because I see it also in the boxing gym with a lot of professional fighters. They don't have the discipline that martial artists have, and I've realized that, and that's something that I've had already going into it, and I think that's a majority of the reason why I've been so successful in boxing is because of that drive and that discipline that I got from being a martial artist.
What would you say is one of the biggest things you had to unlearn because in order to progress with boxing, maybe it's something that you learned in martial arts that you had to kind of unlearn to progress in boxing?
There was so many things I had to unlearn, and because it's such a different sport. But one of the main things is that you got to stay calm in boxing. You can't lose your cool because there's more rounds. You have to learn how to use your energy correctly. You don't want to use too much energy in one round because then I'm an 8 round fighter right now. So learning how to really spread your energy is something I had to learn. Um, in point fighting, I believe you fight 1 or 2 rounds. It
Hmm.
depends, right, on um,
Depending on what the match is, but yes,
on the
it's
tournament.
it's not as many as boxing.
Yeah, it's a little different, but at the same time, point fighting, you have less time to make adjustments. So that's why I say, like, people always ask me which sport is harder. Both sports are hard in their own way, So I really try not. I don't compare, but like I said, there were so many things I had to unlearn. I could be here all day, but the technique and everything, the distance, everything is different. So.
Now, who blessed you with the nickname of Speedy?
Oh, when I first walked into Gleason's, the trainers named me. They said that I had a natural speed, and that's what the name that they gave me. So I think it's pretty cool. I like it. And the funny
And
part is that no one knows my real name in Gleason's. They only call me Speedy. Everybody calls me Speedy, and it's pretty cool.
hey, that shows that it sticks, and it wasn't, nicknames when they come about naturally, they just stick, and they're on. It's amazing how that comes about. One of the things also let's talk about is that we kind of touched on this a little bit before in our first interview. And 4 years later, we can see this progression. We've gotten a lot of highlights on female athletes. If you think about earlier this year for the NCAA championship, people were talking about, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, about female athletes too, that were highly drafted in basketball. Then, of course, you go to the Olympics with Simone Biles, and we talk about our lady track athletes and in boxing and so on and so forth. How do you feel? How does it look like? I mean, like, it looks like the lady athletes are finally getting a fair shake, getting more eyeballs and everything. How does that really affect you? Do you think it's finally time for this to happen, isn't it?
It's a great, yeah, it's the perfect time to do what I'm doing. Female sports, or and especially female boxing, is on a rise. So it's definitely something. It motivates me more. It's nice. And like I said, I feel like it's the right timing. So yeah.
Yeah, that all works out. Just to ask and also take a page for that. Who were some of the boxers that you looked up to? You had a great picture with Mike Tyson. That was absolutely cool. I've been in the same room with Mike. Never got a chance to take a picture or really meet with him one on one. But who are some of the boxers that you looked up to?
I would say I look up to all the woman boxers in my gym. I have so many. I train along so many women world champions in my gym. That's what Gleason's is known for. A lot of female champions coming out. I look up to all of them because they come from a different era before
Hmm.
before this. So that's when boxing wasn't really on the rise for females. So that just gives it more respect. And I would say, like I said, I look up to them the most.
So as we mentioned also last time, just kind of covering for you, you've already probably been up early this morning doing a workout. You just coming from a day job. You're a teacher. You're teaching phys ed.
Yeah.
What is it like when your teacher, excuse me, when your students find out that you're also a boxer?
They're surprised because I don't look like a fighter. Then, then they question me. Then I gotta show them proof. But no, once they find out, they highly respect it. I also teach a boxing club after school. I get a lot of students that are interested, so I get to teach them after school. A lot of them show up. They love it. They respect me, and it's awesome. I a lot of the younger girls look up to me. So I think it's awesome. To be a part of it, honestly.
And, really, what does it mean to you? Because whether we like it or not, there's always someone watching us. So I always try to be cognizant of my behavior. I was talking to Raymond Daniels earlier this year, and he said it specifically like the challenge for having daughters was to be the man that my daughter would want to marry. And it was like a check for him. But also mentioning that people are always watching us, what does it mean to you that one day that maybe your success in this sport and even as you're teaching after class after school and everything that you may inspire someone to come become a future champion?
It means a lot, honestly, and I get a lot of students that graduate from high school, and a few of them wrote about me in their college essays, which was very nice, and it's a great feeling. Honestly, it just makes me feel like this job is more rewarding than it already is. Touching lives. So to me, it's awesome, and it's a great feeling.
You really could have your own Mr. Holland's Opus moment. And if you haven't seen the film, if you haven't seen it or whoever's watching it, definitely look it up. It is essentially a teacher having effect over his entire career and how he inspired his students. Speaking of inspiring, you have a fight coming up. When is the date?
Yeah, so I'm fighting my 11th professional fight on October 12th at the Prudential Center, which is the biggest arena I've fought in yet. Super excited for it. I'm fighting against a Mexican fighter. She's 11-2. And yeah, that's it. Ready to go.
I will definitely keep that, up in here in the comments and everything. And let's break it down and actually let's end with the kids. Uh, Can you give me a story, especially for we'll go for a female that has maybe come to your boxing class, and you can see how they've accelerated because you've taught long enough that you can see kids when they come in, and almost like teaching karate. You see them when they first come in as white belts, and then they get their black belt, and you see where they go from here. What about maybe a story you have for someone that you've touched their lives?
Well, the most amazing thing is when they follow me. So, for example, like they'll graduate high school, and I teach boxing at a gym in Bay Ridge, and they'll come and continue boxing and train with me in the other gym following high school, which I think
Mm.
is the best feeling because they're continuing out of college, out of high school, which to me is, I mean, what that's my goal. Whether it's fitness, boxing, whatever it is, I try to teach lifetime fitness, right? Fitness for life. So to me, I feel like that's the most rewarding.
So one last question: what do you miss about the tournament circuit from your time, traveling for sport karate and everything?
Oh man, it's so different. But yeah, of course, there's aspects that I miss. Um, I guess I miss having hmm, the amount of tournaments. It's a lot more activity.
Hmm.
There's tournaments every week. I remember that, and I was always getting ready for something, and I think
Hmm.
that's super exciting. With boxing, it's a little slower. You know,
Mhm.
your fights come in 3 month increments. So I do miss that aspect. I think that was cool. That was exciting.
That is definitely one thing. Most people don't understand that how we can have so much experience because you're literally fighting every week. And if you can or want to, there's a Saturday, Sunday option, and you go back and do
Right.
it all over again. Well, we
Yeah.
certainly appreciate you stopping in for the second time. Wish you all the best. We'll have your fight contact information in there, obviously your Instagram and everything. Hey, best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you so much, Mallory. Thanks again for having me. Hopefully, talk to you soon at my, I guess, my end of career. This is my middle of career. So, have
I'll keep that.
a
We'll definitely do that. It's a date. We'll definitely do that.
date. All right. Have a great day. Thank you.